super excited today because I have one of my very favorite leaders here with me. I have Amy Flynn. And I've been watching Amy's career for a really long time. She used to run the inside sales division of the Logan Group, and that I believe is one of the very hardest divisions to run in our industry. And I have continued to, talk to different thought leaders in our arena here and continue to say I didn't feel like there was a really great leadership course or something that could take business owners that maybe were salespeople and they were really great there that then become leaders because they're hiring and firing and doing all the things. So becoming a business owner, is a challenging step in our careers, I think, a lot of the times. And again, not a lot of leadership classes and courses that you can take. Amy heard that as a challenge that we've seen with a lot of the people that we work with hiring and training. And she produced a course that I'm super excited about. I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. And I hope that you invest in yourself and your business through this and invest in your leadership skills, because that's what's going to take you to the next level, right? And so, Amy, welcome. I want to talk more about this so that people know what they can invest in and what they get in the program. Obviously, we're endorsing it and you. But tell me really quickly, why Amy? What do you have to teach us about leadership and why should we be learning from you?
Yeah, thank you. And it's a great question. I mean, honestly, like you mentioned, I was with the Logan Group. I led the inside sales division for about 6 years. And I think the value of working on such a high volume team is that you fail forward fast. You learn a lot. The things that work today don't work tomorrow, and you're constantly inventing and reinventing and reshaping what things have to look like. And I think ultimately it all comes down to people when we talk about leadership, but there's so much that you need support of: the vision, the value, how do you have a process for that? How do you inspect what you expect? So it just was so much growth and opportunity there to really develop a lot of great how-to with leadership, right? And besides that, I mean, I've been in leadership for almost 20 years. I started my career in sales and customer service and was promoted at a very young age to leadership and management. And I've invested thousands of hours, obviously thousands of dollars. I mean, I've done a lot of work because it is a passion of mine to lead others and to be our best self, right? I think that's important when it comes to leadership, is how much you invest in growing yourself is how much you can help pour into others. And so thousands of hours. I have hundreds of people I've helped hire, fire, coach, lead accountability sessions, performance improvement, building training plans. I mean, you name it. Those are all things that very much have been in my wheelhouse for some time. So hopefully I can help pass on the learnings to other people. I feel like that's a bit of the gift that I'm offering. As I built this because I believe you can either learn the hard way or you can spend some time investing in something like this that could save you that energy, save you that time, save you that money of what some of the mistakes might cost us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell me really quickly, who do you think would benefit most from this program?
So who comes to mind for me is either someone who is ready to grow a team, ready to build, believes in success through others, and is looking for some foundational support to do that, right? Like, what should I be considering? What have I not built yet? What processes do I need to put in place to be able to support other people? Who do I need to be to lead in that space, to hire that right fit, to lead them with me? Because that's very different than leading ourselves, right? When we're independent, it's about being great at a certain set of skills. Like you mentioned, if I'm a great sales agent, it's being a great sales agent. When I take on that second person and then continue to take on more, it's so many new and different skills that are required. So I think that is super important. And I also think anyone who is already on a team, if you're already in this and things feel a little strange and maybe you're struggling with the productivity, the accountability, the connectedness of your team, getting them all in the same direction, this can be very important for those folks too. And then finally, I would say if you have a team and you have promoted others in some fashion, like a director level position, a sales manager role, a lead buyer agent, right? You've promoted someone because maybe you need that leverage and you haven't yet given them foundational skills for leadership and for managing or training and coaching. I think that would be the other big space that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think, we see people even making their first hire, right? Like, I've wished that this existed for them because, like I said, just to invest in yourself, like you're bringing one person on, like that they've chosen you as the leader, right? And so now it's your turn to invest in them. And so yeah, even if you're thinking about just hiring your first person or that's like on the horizon, like I would tell you to invest in yourself before because it's really needed. So I think with things like this, it can feel like there's intangible results, right? How can we tell like what the results should be from something like this?
Leadership is a challenge, right? In my opinion, it's one of the best challenges that we face as working on a team. I enjoyed it so much because we can't control people, right? Like that's the other side, almost like our clients, right? We can't control our clients, what they're going to say if we're in sales. It's the exact same thing when you bring others on your team. We can't control that person. So it's now up to us as to how well are we setting expectations, inspecting our expectations, having tough conversations when we need to, making changes when they're necessary. Like you said, so much intangible stuff. And where I would say the return comes is from time. Time is our number one asset. And if we are spending time spinning our wheels, having conversations that don't produce results, avoiding tough conversations. Maybe I can speak to my own personal experience. The energy it would take from me, the time I would spend on if I should have this conversation or what if I say it wrong? Maybe I don't have the evidence to support it. Gosh, maybe next week. Oh, it's getting better. It's not getting better. It's getting better. Oh, they have a good excuse. There's this emotional connection with someone I love. All of that. I mean, the time it expends and the energy that it takes from us as leaders and what you can get back and where you can put that is the intangible. I think that this will serve, right? Like it is tough. There is no specific ROI. I think it shows up in the results, in the increased performance of those, the increased engagement, connectedness, and in our time and our conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've told you that like I wish I had invested more and I need to, right? And I need to invest more in my own leadership skills. And I think that, we invest in these coaching, like we'll go to a conference, right? But like we're not honing in the skills that it takes to really lead people. And so with that being said, let me show them your program here, which again, I'm super excited. So really quickly, Amy has created her business Impact Business Consulting. And, she has this Impact Leadership Master Class series. Within here, she's broken it into 10 weeks. And so, Amy, I'm going to let you kind of explain this a little bit. Obviously, they can see the different weeks that they're going to get. But walk us through kind of, what your thoughts were when you created the 10-week course.
Yeah. So for starters, I love that you said we go to conferences, right? I have been to a number of leadership trainings and classes and coaching camps and conferences and NLP even. And there's times where I would come away from a class or a session where I had spent a few hours and took a bunch of notes and had a whole notebook of things. And then if you fast forwarded in my life 2 to 3 weeks later, it would be a struggle to say I implemented much of it, right?
Yep.
Because I so quickly got back in my world. I so quickly got back and dug myself out of the never-ending email or business hole, if you will, that always occurs when you get out of your business for some time, if you're in any level of leadership, because people are counting on you and because your business still runs. And that's why I built the 10-week session, right? It's 2.5 months. It's 1 hour per week for 2.5 months because I believe growth is a journey. I believe that it takes time to integrate learnings, to practice things, to bring them into your conversations, to into your accountability sessions. That all takes work. And I think that if in a 1 hour segment, we can step away from our business. We can be accountable to just really staying focused. And so that was really a big part of it, right? It was like, how do we make it the right time to really be with people, to help people change and to grow and to change their behaviors. Well, that's where it's at. And then we start with really kind of a understanding the power of influence. We're always influencing people, good or bad. And so it's important we know that and work towards showing up at our best self, right? Because so much of leadership is, it's not what you're saying, it's how we're acting and it's what we're doing and it's leading by example or not. And if we're constantly preaching accountability is important to me, but I am constantly maybe not being accountable when I tell someone I'm going to follow up with them, what I'm showing them is probably more important than what I'm telling them. And so we dive into that a bit, which can feel some ways for people. And yet I think it's important. Not many classes really tell us that, you know, we kind of got to get that gut check moment. Communication, understanding how our folks are wired, similar to sales. The better you understand them and meet them where they're at, the more you're able to help someone move forward. Using the right language, the power of our words, how we really take that into coaching, managing and leading others with having the responsive questioning, leading them to change their actions, getting buy-in. Right? There's a lot of times in leadership, I told someone what to do and I expected it to get done and it didn't. Well, I don't know that I slowed down enough to make sure they understood or believed it for themselves. Some just fundamentals, truths, myths, principles, responsibilities, like just let's dive into coaching because it's different than managing. It's different than training. They all have nuances that I think are important to understand. That way we know when we're applying which of the different types of styles.
Yeah.
We go through a really great book, The Coaching Habit. It's a really easy read and is so great at giving some fundamental questions of having a powerful conversation. We do models. So in addition to conceptually, who do you need to be? We also talk about tactically, what can you do, right? How do you build a process? What conversation model can you use to help set goals, to help have accountability, to help grow in training? To when they're off pace, when they're doing something that's a behavior that doesn't meet your values. What is a conversation model that you can have that makes it okay to lean in and have that tough conversation? So we go through all that kind of stuff. A lot is gravitated towards how do we help people be accountable? And ultimately, how do we help increase production? Ultimately, we calibrate on behavior, right? We want results. And so we want to make sure that we are leading our best self and showing others how to get the results we want.
I love that. Man, there's so many questions I want to ask you about all this stuff. But here's the thing. I mean, if you just listen to all that, like Amy knows what she's doing and she's chosen the things that are over here in the 10 that that will help you move to a better place. It's funny, you know, just even looking at this, like, I know that your training that you've done with NLP, like, helps in so many of these things. And, you know, so if you're watching this, you know, that's probably something you could invest in as well. I would totally start here because it'll give you a really good foundation on what's next. And, you know, Amy obviously can help with that. So what's really cool is she decided to give you guys 2 options here. Now I'm going to preface this with, this is the cheaper version, but I really, it's funny when we were prepping and talking about everything, this was the one that I gravitated to right away and didn't even look at the other one because this is the one that I believe most people need. So let's talk about the one that I feel like really is something that a lot of people need. And it's an investment of $36.99, which actually you guys are going to get a discount if you're coming through me as well, which is so wonderful. And so just walk us through what they really get here. I know obviously they get the 10 weeks, but what else?
Yeah. So I wanted to create an option that allowed for more, right? What if I have questions? What if I need support? What if there are things that I am doing in my business that maybe I am not sure is where I want to go and need somebody to brainstorm how to adjust how adjust the ship, turn the corner, get where you're headed. So that's where I included this expert-led integration, which increases the time an additional 6 weeks. Again, for the purpose of growth is a journey. And if you're really in a place where you're looking to make changes on your team to succeed at a higher level and take people to a higher level, it comes with time and work and energy. And so that is why that series becomes a 4-month series and then has a lot more personalization. So you'll get more time one-on-one in creating you a personal 30, 60, 90 or training plan, if you will, on having more role play sessions to practice the models and conversations and techniques that you will learn just to become more confident and comfortable in them. Just like sales, it's why we don't use, if we aren't scripted and we aren't practiced, we won't say it. So we have to integrate it. It has to become internalized so that we can say things with confidence in leading.
Yeah.
Coaching sessions. So this includes one-on-one coaching sessions bi-weekly as we get towards the end to really help in those, gosh, I have this thing. Man, I have this challenge. I'm not sure what to do with this person. This isn't working for me, and I'm just not sure why. Right? That's where that really comes into play because it can help you have an expert on your, in your corner to walk through that with you and to help you uncover some of those blind spots. Also access just to, as you go through growth, it can get messy. And so having access to a coach to just assist you in working through that. And then it also does include the series, and there's a one-on-one session included in there as well as some role play. So
Yeah. I love this option because I mean, here's the thing, guys, like we get calls all the time, especially now. It feels like after COVID, like things are just weird. But people are hiring people and it's like, hey, I want to bring my support dog to work. And like, if you've never led people or you've never worked in HR and you've just never thought about these type of things or had these conversations, one, your face can, as a manager, can give away your thoughts so quickly that then you have somebody walking out the door when maybe you didn't want that, right? Just because you're hit with something that you didn't know was going to be something that you're going to talk about, right? And so, I love this because I do think role playing and leadership is really important. There are a lot of tough conversations that I've had to have as a leader, where I felt like I really could have used a role play partner. Like I could have used somebody to walk me through these things first before I did anything. And so I love this option. And then obviously if you're investing in yourself and you just don't have the ability to do that at the moment, you can do the 10 weeks here. And Amy, just explain this top one here for $24.99, which again, we'll have a 30% discount on it.
yeah, so it includes the 10 sessions, that's the 2.5 months. During the time towards the end, as we get into more of the models, we have role play included. So there's some additional time dedicated to role playing the things that we're learning. And then the personal growth strategy session, that is a one-on-one time to discuss next steps at the end of the series. Just because I believe it's important, right? You're wrapping up this great training. Let's leave with an action plan. Let's talk about what did you gain? What are your gaps? Where's your opportunity? And what are you doing about it? Right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure we set up folks for success at the end so that they are continuing their journey of growth as they come out of the learning.
Yep. I love that. So obviously if you're, watching this, you can use the QR code or really quickly, we'll give you guys these two options to check out. And then if you put in Soprani Plus and you hit apply, you'll see your price is going to go down. And both of these, of course, this is the one that I believe is really awesome because there's just so much more that you get there. So I'm going to end with this probably. I'm going to say that if you're somebody who has had people walking out from your company, or you've continued to hire somebody over and over again in the same position over and over again, and it's just not working. It could be that you're hiring the wrong person, right? And we're great at that. Like Soprani Consulting, we can help you with that. We can navigate some of that. it could be that you need some leadership skills and some management skills that maybe you're just missing because you became a business owner overnight after being a really great salesperson, and you just need some different tools and you need some lessons around that. Again, I think a lot of people don't stop long enough to say, hey, it might be me. I might need a little bit more with me, instead of it was always that other person. And so, Amy, any final thoughts on that? I just, I really want to challenge people to continue to build into themselves. And again, I love this program. I love that you brought this forward. I think our industry really needs it. So I'm thrilled. But any parting thoughts?
Yes, thank you. So two things. One, I will just also mention the sessions will be recorded. So if there's a thing about time, if there's something you might not be able to make, we can make that work. And if there is someone who wants to be a part of this, who wants to explore a monthly payment option, they can email me directly and we can break down the cost to be over the course of the training. I believe in learning, I believe in growth. I want to make this accessible for everyone, and I want to make sure it's a win. So just know there's some options there. If this may be something you are very interested in doing and yet want to talk through alternative ways besides paying in full, I'd be happy to have that conversation with anyone. And then my parting thought would be, this to me is something we can't afford to wait on. I know as a leader, it was easy for me to say, I'm too busy. We're going into busy season. Gosh, we just hired that new person. I've got to help get them ramped up and through training. It's just a really busy time and we'll do that later, right? Like there's always this list of when we'll work on ourselves. And I just challenge people to really lean in and decide to do it now, because it's costing us. It is costing us time. It's costing us energy. It's costing us money if we aren't leading, being our best self. If we don't have the tools and process and systems and conversation tools necessary to change other people's lives, right? It is a skill. It is not some people are naturally more gifted than other, and yet it's a skill. It's a journey. And so you're either going to get there through years potentially of some struggles and heartaches. And this won't take all of that away, but gosh, if it could make one conversation change behavior faster, if it could lead to one person succeeding that's going to leave, if it saves you one new hire you don't have to make because you're more efficient and you're holding people higher to a higher level of accountability or higher standards, like, what can that do for your world, right? Like, what does that save you if you don't have to spend an hour and a half figuring out how to have this conversation that you put off for 3 months that now you have to let them go and you're not sleeping the night before, right? Like all of that's, it is costing us not to do things now. It just is. Even in our busiest season, it's about putting the intention to just cause change, because I believe passionately this can help grow someone's business. This can help change the way that we lead and can cause growth to happen, right? It's going to cause success if we just take the time to invest.
You're so good with your words. That is, yes, all of that is so true. And again, so needed. So I'm so excited for people to take advantage of this. Thank you for letting Soprani Consulting have a discount, and everybody that's associated with us. We're really lucky that we have the ability to get this out to people, because it is a challenge that we're seeing on a regular basis. And so thank you for creating this. Yeah, I'm just really excited. So if you guys have questions, obviously you can reach out to us. We'll put Amy's information in here, and then the flyer will be attached as well. So lots of information, lots of ways to get in touch with her, and her website's awesome. You can purchase all of this right there. So thank you again, Amy, for everything. I appreciate it. Thank you for bearing with us as we had some technical difficulties live, if some of you guys saw that, and I just appreciate you.
Thank you.